there's a good chance that there's something in your life right now that you're putting off. It could be an important task, a difficult conversation, or in some cases, a step you want to make to improve your life. But knowing you're putting it off, despite it being in your best interest, why are you procrastinating? And more importantly, how can you overcome it? Well, in this video, I'm going to share 5 research-based strategies for overcoming procrastination, which can help you to stop putting things off and get started on what matters most. So let's dive in. Hi, I'm Nick and I'm a husband, dad, pops, registered counselor and certified coach with tons of experience of helping busy professionals to improve mindset, emotional well-being and performance. And on this channel, I share tips, ideas and practical tools designed to help you manage, grow and succeed in life. So if you're committed to your ongoing personal development and you really want to take steps to living your best life, then you're in the right place. So subscribe and click on the bell icon so you can be notified of future videos. Also, if as part of your personal growth, you'd really like to get more clarity about how you want your life to look in the next few years or so, then download my free 5-step guide to creating your ideal future. I'll put a link to it in the description. So what do we know about procrastination? Well, we know from research that about 95% of people admit to putting things off. And also some of our reasons for procrastinating include things like tasks being boring, difficult, or having little perceived reward. Some theories about procrastination put it down to anxiety, fear of failure, or perfectionism. Others argue we put things off as a way of self-sabotage, so we can give ourselves a way out if we think we might fail. And other theories suggest we procrastinate out of rebellion as a way of asserting a sense of freedom. However, Piers, one of the leading researchers on procrastination and the author of the Procrastination Equation, he highlights where procrastination has more to do with preferences and how we manage and relate to delay and reward. In other words, he says that we're more likely to put off tasks that we view as being difficult and unenjoyable, and more likely to pursue goals that we believe are easier to attain and pleasurable. And because we prefer immediate results that make us feel good, we're prone to giving into the temptation of doing less important tasks, despite knowing deep down that other important activities will produce better long-term outcomes. So knowing you're drawn to less important activities which result in you avoiding high priority tasks, let's consider 5 strategies that you can start using to beat procrastination one day at a time. If the idea of completing a particular task fills you with dread, the first strategy you can try using is to make the task fun. Yes, if completing a report has less appeal than a celery and cucumber salad, try making a game of it. For example, you could do this by challenging yourself to see how many words you can write in a 15-minute period, or even seeing how you might be able to incorporate phrases or words from your favorite song throughout. Good luck with that one. The second strategy for beating procrastination is to make a list of what's at stake if you continue putting off the task at hand. Now, this second tip can be really helpful when you're struggling with getting started on a big task. For example, listing what's at stake if you put off arranging to meet with a financial advisor to talk about your future pension plans is probably far more important than counting the cost of not getting started on the household chores. Now, truth be told, in some cases and in some relationships, the cost of not doing household chores could be huge, so it might also be worth giving that one some thought too. But in all seriousness, the key to this strategy is recognizing the value of the task you're avoiding, because the lower the perceived value of a task, the more likely you'll be to put it off, especially if you believe it's challenging or less than exciting. A third way to give yourself a better chance of beating procrastination is to disconnect. Now, what you disconnect from will depend on your context, but the chances are one of the ways you might recognize procrastination in your life is in your tendency to be distracted by some kind of digital device. Now, this is especially true if you manage your household and maybe your personal and professional life through a mobile phone, for example, with the multiple apps that we have nowadays that help us to do these things. And it's because of this that it's easy to get distracted with your social media, email, and contacts all in the palm of your hand. So if being distracted by your device is evidence of your procrastination, though it may sound drastic, just decide to disconnect from it before you set off to do any task. And this could look like simply, putting your digital device in a different room, disabling all notifications, or even turning off your Wi-Fi connection until your work is done. Okay, before before I share the last 2 strategies for beating procrastination, let me know if you're finding this video helpful by clicking the like button. Your click is really appreciated as it lets YouTube know that I'm offering something of value. So do me a favor and click the like button now. Thank you. Right, a 4th way to beat procrastination, though it may sound obvious, is arguably the hardest. And it's to simply just get started. Even if it's just brainstorming your idea for 10 minutes, picking up the phone to book an appointment, or writing an intro, just start. And this works because your brain has a tendency to remember incomplete tasks more than it does finished ones. In other words, once started, you're more likely to be conscious of the value of a task and get it done than if you don't start it at all. This can be really helpful to remember, especially when the task is a big one. For example, for me, when creating content or training outlines, I find it really helpful to open my notes app, set up a new folder, and start capturing information that I can look at later. Just starting with a folder to capture information triggers my brain to notice when I come across new, relevant, and maybe helpful information. And though the task or project hasn't been completed, what happens is I then feel less anxious because I know it's in progress. A 5th way to beat procrastination and increase your chances of successfully completing important projects is to get into the habit of breaking your projects down into smaller component parts. You see, at first glance, a big project may feel intimidating and daunting, and this will probably make you feel overwhelmed and increase the chances of you procrastinating longer because of the sheer size of what you see ahead of you. But if at this stage you take a moment to just list everything that needs to be done to complete your project or get you from point A to B, then what you can do is start to break down your project into a series of manageable steps. This way, you can also decide what you need to give priority to and where you might be able to delegate to others. Just simply following this 5th step alone will help you to feel less daunted by your project or goal and fill you with more confidence to achieve what you're setting out to do. Okay, so there you have it, 5 research-based techniques for beating procrastination, which can help you to get started on what matters most. Here's a quick recap. 1, make the task fun. Simply making something enjoyable will increase the chances of you doing it. 2, list the cost. Knowing the value of what you're trying to do will give you more motivation and incentive to get the task completed. 3, disconnect. If distraction is an indicator of you putting things off, then simply remove all distractions. 4, just get started. A project you've begun is much more likely to stay front of mind than one that you haven't yet started. And 5, break everything down. To beat overwhelm, which leads to procrastination, try making your project more manageable by breaking it down into small steps. Right, we've reached the end and I have a question for you. What do you think it is that causes you to procrastinate and put things off? You know I love to hear from you, so please leave your thoughts in the comments. Also, if you found this video helpful, please click the like button, share it with a friend, subscribe, and click on the bell icon to be notified of future videos. Thank you so much for watching. Rooting for you. Be well.